Hey everyone, welcome to the Wheels to Walking podcast, the podcast with a guy in a wheelchair and a guy not in a wheelchair.
What up? And I'm here.
And he's here. Yeah, so I made both Andrew and AJ shower the second they walk in the door, together, by the way.
Yeah,
and
we lathered each other up. It was nice.
So I made them shower, put on new clothes, because I don't want to take any chances. I don't need any extra shenanigans. Some people might be saying I'm taking it overboard, but you know what's overboard? Going to the hospital 3 times in less than 6 months. So I'm not trying to do that third one. Just
seriously,
saying.
Fuck that.
And it's a good thing I made them burn their clothes because we got new clothes.
New merch.
We got new merch.
So if you're watching the video, we are wearing the new merch.
We're currently wearing it, and that also means that our video is live.
Yes.
So you need to go to the main channel and check out the drop video because it's been reportedly sick because I haven't even seen it yet, and I'm about to see it very soon.
So if you're listening to this on the day that this comes out, the merch is live, but we're recording this one day before the merch comes out, and I still haven't shown Richard the sick promo video that I made for the merch. So we're gonna watch it live actually right now
to get my reaction.
Get Richard's reaction. So basically, for the audio listeners, this video is very audio heavy, so you're still going to get a lot out of it, but definitely still go watch it because it's a really cool video. So this is Richard's live, real-time reaction to this video that I stayed up till 5 a.m. last night making.
Oh, goodness. Can't wait.
All right. Press play there.
I'm literally so stoked because he told me what he was going to say like over FaceTime video or something, or over Instagram video, and I was getting the chills. So like, I can't wait to see.
All right, let's play this.
Shit.
Attention, you're going to die.
This is so fucking cool.
Your entire life is represented by a small dash on your tombstone. The dash between the year you were born and the year that you die. 8 years ago, Richard Corbett got the word temporary inside of a dash tattooed on his wrist. A constant reminder that everything, including life itself, is temporary. In order to share this mindset with the world, Wheels to Walking is proud to announce the Temporary Collection. The Temporary Collection consists of a t-shirt and hoodie. Each order comes with a temporary tattoo, vinyl sticker, and inspiration card. If things are going well, enjoy them. They won't last forever. If things are going badly, no matter how hard it gets, don't worry, it won't last forever. Remember, you might not get it tomorrow, so appreciate everything. To purchase the collection, visit shopwheelstowalking.com. Bye-bye.
Dude, I still have the chills, man. It's a good thing I am wearing my hoodie that's keeping me nice and warm because I got the chills because I'm cool. Bro,
Sick, right?
That alone, we're going to have to make its own upload. Like
I know, right?
Like we're going to have to make that its
just
own.
The merch announcement?
Well, not just the merch announcement, but like just that video by itself. Like that is so sick.
Sick, right?
Oh,
yeah, so if you
man.
haven't watched the merch launch video, go check that out so you can see what, I mean, if you're watching the podcast, you can see it. We're going to put it on the screen, but if you're just listening, go check it out. But fun fact, that's actually my voice. Fun fact, that's my voice doing the voiceover.
Yeah, that is Andrew's voice. And tell us how you made that voice because it sounds like a robot chick.
So basically, I talked like this. I'm like, the Wheels to Walking temporary collection, blah, blah, blah. Like it sounds like close enough to a woman's voice, kind of. And then basically I put a pitch shifter on it, so it would like shift the pitch up to make it even more high pitched, so it'd sound more womanly or whatever. And I put this other effect that kind of makes it a little like wavier, almost like floating through different ears. Like so, your right ear kind of hears it, and then your left ear. So kind of like it gives it this eerie feel. And then I put a low pass filter on it that makes it makes it sound like you're talking through a wall. So it basically kind of mutes all the higher tones and makes it kind of, like in a movie when you're hearing a party from another room and then they open the door or whatever, or like when a DJ is playing a song and then he like turns it up. So it's kind of like putting one of those filters, and then I triple stacked it. So I've got that high voice on the top, and then I've got a mid voice and an even low voice. So you kind of hear almost like a chord being played of voices, like where it's like 3 voices all at once. So it's a high voice and a medium voice and a low voice. So it gives it this really creepy vibe. So you're like, is it a lady? Oh, there's like a man talking. Like, it's very weird.
So very quickly said it in the video, but I'll say it again just to make sure everybody knows. shopwheelstowalking.com is the website. It'll be in all descriptions, in all bios. It'll be
everywhere for the rest of time.
It'll be everywhere
because we're so stoked.
And
we've been working on this for like months and months and months.
Since I think before I get hit by the car, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I remember we were working on it kind of like passively before I got hit by the car, because we were also really focused on doing the podcast, because we spent like 10 to 14 days creating like the big podcast launch.
Yeah.
And then
that was like our main focus. And then we were like, as soon as the podcast is rolling, we're going to shift to merch.
And then I got hit by the car like within a couple of days after the podcast merch or podcast launch. And I was like, okay, one thing I want to get completed while I'm basically stuck in bed healing is the merch. I want to do everything I possibly can in my power to make this merch happen, because right now I can't support my business on YouTube revenue because I'm not making videos. Like I can't do that right now.
Yeah. And most YouTubers actually make a lot of their income from merchandise. Like a lot of creators that have their content demonetized, like David Dobrik, but it's just a good way that, because right now all we really have is YouTube ad money and Patreon, and Patreon's cool, but I feel like merch is cooler because you get something in return and you can wear something that, represents the creators that you like and everything like that. And,
Patreon people, thank you. Thank you so much. You must really like us and what we're doing. And I cannot continue to express my gratitude. But
there's a lot of patrons now. It's really cool.
There's a lot of patrons. But to put it into perspective with you, someone who not only lives on the internet, but makes money on the internet and is a fan of people on the internet, I'm more inclined to purchase their merch than I am to subscribe to their Patreon, no matter how much I like them.
Accurate.
And I don't know, that's just how I roll. So I wanted to make sure that we had a way that you guys could get some really cool stuff. And
yeah, before Wheels to Walking, I only subscribed to like a couple people's Patreon at like the lowest tier, just because I like really wanted to support them.
Yeah, I never subscribed to anyone's Patreon before Wheels to Walking, but I would regularly buy merch.
Yeah,
like, that was something that I pretty regularly did, because when you're in the merch game, like some of it can be crap. And,
sure.
And a lot of it is, and that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that
it's kind of like when
was not going to happen with this.
Yeah, the way just to back up for a quick second, one of the things that I think about is like back in the day, I used to pirate all the music, but I would always like go to concerts and buy their merch at the place. Like, I'm not going to buy your music. I always pirate your music, but I'm going to support you in this way. It's kind of like the similar where people are watching all of our videos for free. They're getting all this free content. So it's like, as soon as we're able to give them something tangible, it's like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And I hope that's what the reaction is. But yeah, I totally agree. A lot of merch out there is total crap. And both of us have had our fair share of really crappy merch that we've bought.
Yeah. And I've had experience with good merch too. Like, some of the 2 favorite pieces that you see me wear all the time are Greg Mike pieces, and those are my favorite. Like, I love him as an artist. I've bought some of his prints before. I have some of his art on my wall. I have some of his shirts. Like, there's some of my favorite way to rep him. I mean, I go to like his shows. Like, he's got this really cool thing called the Outer Space Project, but that's, in October or something like that. But, I really appreciate having something to kind of like wear and rep, and I wanted to make sure it was also like really comfortable. Like, I want you to wear this shirt no matter what's on it. Like, I want you to wear this hoodie no matter what's on it. I want it to be the right fit. I want it to be the right weight. I want it to be the right fabric. I wanted it to feel really good. And even the same thing with the hoodies. Like, this is perfect for the spring/summer. It's a mid-weight hoodie. The shirts are really nice and form-fitting, and everyone who I've had try on samples just loves how it fits and how it feels.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we were also trying to figure out the happy medium between what is super wearable versus what is super cheesy versus what, we're catering to, people with all types of, accessibility things, whether they're using a wheelchair or whether they're walking or whatever. We didn't want it to just be like, oh, here's wheelchair merch or whatever. Because, and
not just that, like, oh, here's wheels to walking merch. Like, if you look behind Andrew, there's a symbol. It says, W2W, and it's got a wheel and a walking guy. And that was our original concept, and I didn't like it at all.
We were, because I was kind of like, let's just put that on the merch, and it'll just be the symbol. It's still not wheels to walking. It's just W2W. It's not so obvious. People are still going to, wonder what it is, all that kind of stuff. But we, after, and I was kind of like, yeah, let's just do that. But Richard really hammered it. He's like, dude, like, no, let's come up with something cooler. Let's come up with something better. And I have a long list of really good merch ideas. Like, we've got a lot of really cool collections that we're going to be releasing over the next year. It's going to be so sick. Like, I'm more stoked about the coming ones than the one we just launched, honestly.
I mean, this one's awesome, and I'm stoked about it. And it's so legit, but the faster you guys buy this one, we'll get to the next.
The faster it sells out.
The faster it sells out, the faster we can get to the next one.
True that.
Or we might just leave this as like the OG original restock where it's like,
or maybe come out with different colorways or whatever.
Yeah, we wanted it to be something that could speak to everyone. I mean, and what's even crazier is this was all before the Rona. Dude,
yeah,
this was all before the Rona. And like, we were working, and then like the Rona shows up and it just messes up everything. Like, there was so many hurdles to overcome, and there's so many like challenges and difficulties, and the people that have been following the vlogs and the people that are on the podcast, you guys know what's up. You didn't get a video last week. Like, we've been doing everything we can in our power to keep content coming because, one, everyone's on the internet, and two, a lot of people have stopped. So we're like, all right,
let's double down.
Let's double down. Let's make what we can make happen. And sure, it might not be the best time to like put out a new merch line while there's people, losing their jobs, but it was already set in motion months ago, and I'm not about to like sit on a very expensive investment and not get it out to you guys.
Yeah, like, we've been working on this for so long. We've put a lot of money into it. We put a lot of time into it. And that was the biggest challenge, was like, in the beginning, what was going to be our first merch line, because you can't do a first ever again. Like, we had to figure out what the first one was going to be. And we were sitting actually in this room. I remember we were sitting at this table and we were like, looking at the signs back here, and we were like, what can we do? And we were just throwing ideas around, and we were
brainstorming. We were just throwing shit up against the walls everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think I remember there was a comment that someone left on the it was the video where you and I did the Q&A.
The Q&A video, because you talked about your tattoos.
I talked about my tattoos because people were asking about my tattoos, and someone had mentioned like, hey, you should make some merch with tattoos on it. And they were thinking the ones on my legs, or, they were, I don't remember exactly what it was, or maybe it was, what the writings that I had on my wall, which we've talked about, I think, in the last podcast. And, we just kind of kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I think
you suggested it. You were like, well, what about temporary? And Richard has this tattoo on his right wrist that says temporary inside of a dash. And we've talked about it a lot of times. You kind of heard about it on the little video, but what was the mindset you were in when you got that tattoo?
Ooh, I don't even know, man. I think I was in a situation where, from what I recall, I was living at I remember the whole story now. Okay, cool. I was living at my sister's house because I was living there after the accident. This was like a year and a half after the
your first accident where you got paralyzed.
With a paralyzed accident. And the
2012 or something.
The house
2011.
The house that we were living in caught on fire, and we had to move out. So my sister, my brother-in-law, and her kids moved into a family-friendly house. And because it wasn't accessible, the insurance company just put me up at like an extended stay hotel. And I was also going to school at the time, and I was just like so uncertain and so uneasy and so stressed out and really panicky and lots of anxiety, and like there was just a lot going on. And I remember I was also put in like after that house, I like went and stayed at like another person's house, which they were like so great, like the most kindest people ever. Like they put a ramp in their garage and they let me park in their garage, and they like gave me that like their extra bedroom and like let me use their kitchen, and they even went out of town for a while and just kind of let me do the whole thing. But I remember like I was having trouble with my mental health, and I was having trouble with school, and I remember I was becoming like, you know, like at the time I was really abusing like a lot of the study drugs that they give you, and it was just like a big crazy time in my life, and everything was so chaotic, and I was like, God, and I was journaling like a lot at the time. Like I was journaling. And so I decided to get the word temporary tattooed on my wrist in such a way that I could see it while I was journaling. And I think I had heard someone real briefly tell me about that, the story about the dash,
like live your dash. You've got your, you know, the dash between the two dates on your tombstone.
Someone briefly told me about it. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let me look into that. And I liked it, but I didn't want to just get like a solid dash. And I was like, well, I mean, my life is pretty temporary. My problems are pretty temporary. And like, you know, it'll get back to normal. It'll be okay. Eventually, I just got to keep reminding myself that it's going to be temporary. It's going to be okay. And I kept looking at like my wrist. And after I got the tattoo, like a week or two, it was still healing. And I remember, if you guys ever read my Untold story, which I know a lot of you guys haven't, but if you haven't, please go read the Untold story. It's like basically my story from the day I got hurt all the way until today, and all that I've gone through and all that I've overcome and all the resources and all the things I wish I would have done and all the things I did dumb. And it's a great tale of precaution. And I think I talk about this in the second email that gets sent out is it was the first time I was institutionalized, and it was because I got really like violent and angry and aggressive with my mom, and I started to like start threatening to hurt myself because I mean just things were just like it felt like there wasn't a floor underneath me. I had moved like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a matter of a couple of months. And if you're a person with a disability, especially a wheelchair user, you know how difficult it is to create new systems and get acclimated to new living environments. And, you know, that was really messing with me. And, you know, I stopped taking a bunch of my meds, and it was just like the perfect storm. And I remember being in a psych ward under suicide watch with my temporary tattoo
Still healing.
And I remember telling the nurses about it.
Hey, want to know why I got this tattoo? Look how cool it is.
Well, I remember they were like, I told them about it, and I told them the story behind it, and they go, but wait, you're in here for suicide. That's not the mindset of someone who wants to kill themselves. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I was trying to kill myself. I was like, that's just what's on the paper. You know, I'm like, I was just really like angry and upset, and like,
I wasn't trying to kill myself. That's just what they said.
Well, I mean, when, you know, the EMTs or EMS shows up and they're like, hey, is everything okay? What are you doing? I was like, I'm a danger to myself and a danger to other people. And they're like, why you say that? I'm like, I'm mentally unstable and I just threatened to hurt my mom. And they're like, are you going to hurt yourself? And I just kept quiet. And I think they just assumed like, oh, well, let's put him under a psych. And so they took me like a regular hospital. A regular doctor came in after they'd given me like some medicine to calm down. He's like, why are you here? And I was like, I'm a danger to myself and other people. And he's like, well, seems like you've done this before. All right, we'll send you off to blah, blah. And I remember getting like so upset, being like, what do you mean, whelp, I've done this before? Like, no, this is my first time like ever getting involved in some type of psychiatric thing. Like
just because you knew the right lingo or something?
Yeah, I guess he's like, well, guess this isn't your first time. And
no, I've just watched TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, I know the right words to say that like I'm a danger to myself and danger to other people. Like it's true. So I think I got I don't remember. There's some code. It's like 1013 or something.
1099. I'm just kidding.
It's like a 1013 or something like that, where it's like they basically arrest you, but like for psychological reasons, and like put you into like psychiatric jail or whatever. I remember I was there for a little while, and then when I got back out, it was like, you know, just read the Untold story. You'll understand more. But that's where I was. That's what the mindset was at the time when I got the tattoo, and it still reigns true because, you know, my continued to spiral down into the depths of addiction, and like things got worse, but like the tattoo was still there, and then I finally got clean and things got better, and the tattoo's still there, and like the tattoo is always a constant reminder that whatever moment I'm in, I need to like have gratitude and appreciate it because it's going to be gone. And any bad thing I'm going through, like all I have to do is just wait it out, like give it enough time, you know, focus everything one day at a time and do the next right thing. And how perfectly applicable is that to the current Rona situation? It's like none of us want this. None of us like this, but unfortunately we got to do what we got to do, and we got to do it day by day. And we have to remember that like it's eventually going to be over. And in the grand scheme of your entire life, what is a couple of months? It's nothing.
Yeah. Literally nothing.
You know, we'll talk about this later, but I think, you know, this is definitely a big perspective thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I want to talk about that later.
Especially with like spinal cord injury stuff, like you're a master of perspective and, you know,
well, not only
problem
that,
solving
so
and all
like,
that kind of stuff.
I guess I'll get into it now. So I think about like, so I've gone through and overcome spinal cord injury. That was like, not overcome, but accepted my reality for what it is.
Yeah,
you know, I saw, and that was like what, 6 months to a year of my life, maybe longer. It's my whole life. It's my whole life. You know, I think about how I've gone through and overcome, you know, drug addiction. That was 3 months inpatient, 3 months outpatient, a year and a half under close monitoring, you know, like going to therapists and working the steps and, you know, doing the whole thing. And you just like, I've done this before. I know how to be patient. I know how to wait things out. I think about my physical health journey, like when I went from fat to fit, and, you know, that's something that I think about, like, it just takes patience. It just takes time. It just takes consistency.
It's
like
the compound effect.
Like, it's going to be okay. Like, everything's temporary. It's all temporary. You know, my mental health journey. I mean, it's just like everything I can think of that I've gone through in my life. And it's all about perspective. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people that this is my third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I don't even know, hard time I've been through. So I'm pretty seasoned, but there's plenty of people out there that this is their very first thing. And it's a very big deal to them because this is the very first time they've been forced to do something they don't want to do, but it's good for them and it's good for other people. So they like have to do it.
Yeah. And be disciplined and like practice self-control.
Yeah. And, you know, I was like on Imager looking at like tweets or something, and someone was talking about their experience from Katrina and how they got stuck in their house for 6 weeks with no power, no water, no internet, no food. And they were basically like fist fighting their siblings for who could get the bottled water that someone brought them down the street to like take a quick shower or to even drink it. And, you know, that was for 6 weeks. So to someone who's gone through that, this is rookie shit. You know,
yeah,
I
exactly.
think about someone who's gone through cancer, like, this is rookie shit. I think about people that have been stuck in bed with bed sores, like, or some type of bed rest. Like, this is rookie. You know, this is not
nothing new,
just
nothing
difficult,
bump.
just a speed bump. And it's like, we can learn a lot from those kind of people that have that kind of mindset. And, you know, that's one of the things I'm hoping to share with this merch as much as possible. Like I told you guys, people are going to ask about it, and trust me, people are going to go, what's temporary? And you're going to say everything. And they're going to go, huh? And then you can tell them more about, you know, the idea and the mindset and, you know, what you're doing to deal with it and what they're doing. And like,
it's very applicable right now, you know, because and it's funny because the first time I ever saw your tattoo, I honestly thought it was a joke.
You thought it was irony?
I thought it was irony because a tattoo is
permanent, very
permanent by design. But if you get really, you know, meta or whatever into it, it's like, well, actually, you're gonna die eventually, and the you're gonna deteriorate, or you're gonna get burned up, or you're gonna disintegrate into the ground, and that tattoo will not be permanent anymore. It will be temporary, and it's almost like a reminder that, you know, everything is finite. Everything is, you know, gonna go away at some point, including yourself. And as long as you live, that tattoo will be on your body. But when you're gone, you know, no one's gonna see it. No one's gonna remember it. Well, you know, I think you have a deeper legacy than most would think about, and probably with this merch and stuff, people remember it. But the cool thing was, we were to go back kind of to the idea behind it all. We were trying to figure out how we can like take that concept and like make it into merch.
Yeah, how can we package it into merch? So you did a bunch of the design stuff, and then
because basically it's based on Richard's real tattoo, but I mean a tattoo is not a graphical, font or anything. Like I had to recreate the design basically,
and that's why one of the things I think is really cool about these hoodies is that there is a
logo, the
temporary logo design right where I have mine. So it is. Well, you guys will see.
For audio listeners, basically, when you're wearing the hoodie, there is a temporary logo right where Richard's tattoo of the temporary logo is. So it's really cool because.
And then also, look at Andrew's hand. He's wearing one of them. It's kind of faded, but
yeah,
because he's wearing it for 7 or 8 days. But one of these temporary tattoos also comes in the package as well, and you get to slap that on for yourself.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing. I actually forgot. I've got the stickers and the tattoos in my bag, but it doesn't matter. I was gonna use them as props, but yeah. So basically, when you get one of the orders, you're gonna get a temporary tattoo, so you can put one on yourself, and that's actually really cool because it's a cool reminder. Because the first couple of days you're wearing it, you look down and you almost forget, and then it's a reminder that oh shit, yeah, you're right, everything's temporary. This will pass, all this kind of stuff, especially right now. A lot of it's very applicable. And when you're wearing the hoodie, it always catches your eye because it's a black hoodie and it's white text, white on black. So when you glance down, because a lot of times you're not looking at the shirt that you're wearing. Have you ever been out in public and someone asked you a question about the shirt you're wearing and you're like, wait, what? Oh yeah, I'm wearing this shirt today. I forgot.
Exactly.
But when it's on your sleeve, it's a reminder. And I remember I was in the shower at One Life and I was thinking about the merch. Because originally I just had this design for the main part of the shirt. And I was like, dude, how sick would it be to put the logo on the sleeve? That was just so game changing. And when I told you that, it was just like, oh.
When you were like, hey, we should put it on the sleeve, I was like, yes, 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 yes. I was like,
it's so dope. It's such a dope idea. I love that concept. And yeah, and then also in the packaging you get the temporary tattoo, and you also get a little sticker that you can slap on your wheelchair, or you can slap on your water bottle or laptop or wherever you put stickers. And you also get a little card. It's we called it the inspiration card or something.
Yeah, you can keep that with you. I think a good place to put it would be on your mirror or on your fridge or just wherever you regularly see something by your door, whatever it may be. I want to get into a little bit about the Elijah relationship. So you guys have I am a huge fan of Elijah and the clothes that he makes. It is a company called In God We Must. This is not sponsored by them, but I love In God We Must.
You wear their clothes all the time.
I wear their clothes all the time.
The y'all shirt is In God We Must.
Yeah, and the most, I guess, iconic ones is the yellow y'all shirt that I wear in the Why I Use a Wheelchair If I Can Walk video. And then the black y'all shirt I wear during the Why a Wheelchair is Better Than Walking. And then there's a bunch of other shirts that I wear, but I like a lot of their shirts. And, I'm always tagging them in Instagram posts and stuff like that. And
you've even been a model for them too.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's when Elijah reached out to me and he's like, hey man, do you want to be a part of our ambassadorship program? We're starting something new. We'd love you to model some of our clothes, come do a photo shoot, come do a model thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, but I want, access to those photos so I can put them on my page. And he's like, sure. That's a decent enough trade. So I went down to their facility and he gave me 10 more shirts and I got to keep a bunch of them. And, I got my photos taken. It was just it was a cool experience. And, I met the homie and, I guess the ambassador thing didn't really work out, and that's no big deal because it just happens sometimes.
But we ended up working together on this, so it worked out perfectly.
Exactly. I don't even know if their ambassadorship program is up and going, but I was thinking about I want Elijah to make my clothes for me, and so I hit him up. I was like, hey, curious. I know you
because you loved the fit of them. Yeah, you loved their style. All that
I like the
stuff.
fit. I like the style. I like the aesthetic. And I was like, hey man, have you ever made any merch for anybody? And he's like, yeah, I do some stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Can we have a meeting? And then you and I went down and basically we're like, hey, we would love to hire you not only to make the merch, but also, take care of everything, the shipping and the receiving and the customer service and the payment processing and, all the stuff that we wanted to be as hands off as possible just so we could continue to focus on
making videos.
And, a couple of cool things about Elijah is Elijah started this company In God We Must out of a necessity. And the necessity was he's a type 1 diabetic who couldn't afford his insulin because the insulin is so expensive. So, he deals with type 1 diabetes, which, is a disability. And it's because you got to have medication and it affects your life. And it can be detrimental if you do not have your medications. And, so he just kind of like pulled it up by his bootstraps, and his saying is like made with quiet excellence. So he's very much about like doing stuff really well. And so we went in there and we talked to him about a bunch of stuff, and he came back with a quote, and I was like, cool, let's do it. And we've been working back and forth with him a lot, and we picked out like the shirts. We tried a bunch of different shirts, but like I knew which one I really liked. We picked out a bunch of different hoodies, and like we picked out the ones that we both agreed on.
Yeah,
that we both
there's
liked.
one that we want to do for the winter next year that's like so badass.
It is a premium hoodie, and it's a premium hoodie.
It's expensive.
A premium hoodie at a premium cost, but we'll cross that bridge when we
But
get
holy
there.
shit, it is warm and thick, and wow.
Yeah. This one is going to be great for spring, summer.
Here it's already starting to get warm. It's like 65 here. So like we couldn't release like the thickest sweatshirt known to man at this time. Like that's
it's gonna be
more fall,
It's going to be
winter.
good for like spring and summer nights.
For sure.
Early summer,
Yeah.
late spring.
Yeah, it's a good hoodie though. We're super stoked on it. It's at a decent price point for us too. That's the other thing we were like really trying to figure out where that sweet spot was, because on one hand, a company that's well renowned, they can kind of charge whatever they want because they've already got fans that have come to expect the quality. But for our first merch, we were trying to figure out where's the sweet spot between the price that we think is comparable and competitive with other merch and stuff like that, but also the barrier to entry not being too high where people don't want to buy it because they haven't bought it before, all those kind of things. And
We wanted to be as nice as possible and accessible as possible, and that's a line you have to toe, because the nicer it gets, the less accessible it gets, the crappier it gets, the more accessible you get, but people don't like crappy merch. So we wanted to find...
And they don't buy it again.
They don't buy it again. And that's one of the things we want you guys to buy again and again and again, because we're going to continue to release really cool stuff that are going to be different, and it'll be a way that you guys to rock. I mean,
We've got so many good ideas.
I mean, think about you hype beasts out there that like fucks heavy with Supreme. Like, think about all the Supreme gear you have and how they all have like one logo, but it's all a bunch of different variations of it. So not that like we're copying Supreme or anything, but that's just just an example of something where it's like, we got to keep this temporary mindset, this temporary idea, because
it's more than just clothes though. Because if you think about it, if we released the same shirt as Supreme did back in the day, no one would care. The thing about Supreme is that it's an attitude. It's like a lifestyle. It's when you're wearing it, it says something about you, sort of. And it was like ingrained with like New York street culture and skate culture and stuff like that. And I think that's where people really fall in line, because we know plenty of people that start a clothing brand and it's all based around some like dumb word on a shirt. And you could chalk our shit up to that too. It's just a word on a shirt,
or a lot of graphics.
But yeah, or a lot of graphics or whatever. But I think the thing is, when you're wearing it, number one, it has meaning behind it, but also that you're repping us, which is super cool, repping Wheels to Walking, but also
not just repping, supporting too. You're paying our bills. Like,
yeah, for sure.
This is how we can afford to have nice microphones and nice headphones, and how we can afford to have AJ, and like how we can do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you guys are literally like the foundation of everything. Is like,
yeah,
and you can wear that with pride.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about I'm just really excited for it, because I think it's more than a clothing line. It's more than just like merch to me. Like, I think, you saw like how much we put into the video and stuff like that. Like, it's a movement. It's it's
an idea.
Yeah, it's like it's how we can spread that mindset to everyone, and I think that's really cool.
And it's
not just like, oh, wheelchair merch, cool, wow. Because dude, I hate to say it, but I have seen a lot of like wheelchair type merch shit from being in this game.
So bad.
It's so bad. Most merch in general is bad. Most people that set out to make a stupid clothing line, it's typically bad. Mainly because they're not hiring a designer or like have any clue about design or anything like that, and they're just like slapping some stuff together that they found on clip art, but or just like typing in like a standard like Word font.
Yeah, and it's like this is not some like print on demand from a different country, upload a logo, press a button, it gets printed on a shirt and packaged and sent to you. Like, no, we hand-picked this piece by piece. We designed this piece by piece. Like, the place that's going to be manufacturing and distributing is right down the street. And, you know, we also have this connection with the owner who's also got a disability, but obviously a different kind of disability, and
still a disability, and he's under a lot of stress right now. With all this stuff,
and we're supporting him, and he's supporting us, and you're supporting us, which is supporting him. It's supporting everybody. Like, everybody love everybody, and
yeah, it's not just like some drop shipping like soulless bullshit.
Yeah, and it's totally like cruelty free, sweatshop free. Like
made in the USA, baby.
Yeah, we wanted to, you know, do everything as proper as we possibly could and ethically as we could.
Because you can't make a second first impression. That's the main thing too. It's like we really didn't want to cheap out and like just make some bullshit. Because a lot of YouTubers do.
It's not a cash grab. It's not a cash grab because we could have done this months ago.
Easy.
Like, we could have 3 or 4 months in after the first video went viral, you know, we could have been
slap the logo on a shirt.
We'd be like, logo on a shirt, time to get everybody on board. We got a whole bunch of new eyeballs on our channel, like, gang, like, let's get this moving. And we're like, nope, it's not the right time. You know, like, 2020 for us is, you know, we always joke about it, like the year of the bag. Like, I think about the 3 I's. It's like you have influence, impact, and income. And we've created the influence, we've created the impact, and now it's time to create the income. And what's cool is the people that we have influenced and the people that we have impacted are going to be the people that create the income.
Yeah.
So that in itself is so sick, and that allows us literally to do whatever we want. Like, we are beholden to no one. Like, this is our brand. This is our stuff. Like,
totally.
No one's going to tell us what to do. Like, there's no, you know, like, legal review. There's no team. There's no bosses. There's no other company or brand that has to be all schmoozy and, like, tell us what to do. And, like, I've said no to so much money in the past 12 months because they wanted to have their opinion. They wanted to have their voice. They wanted to tell me what to do. And like, you'll actually guys are going to hear about a sponsor that first time sponsor on the podcast who totally is not telling us what to do. Which is
amazing.
They're very open. They're very cool. They're new. They're starting stuff up. And they were basically like, hey, listen, we love what you're doing. We want to be a part of it, you know? And we're like, dope, cool. Let's make it happen. So it's like, we get along well with people that, you know, are on board. Like from the beginning, we've been saying it's like either you're on board or you're not. The end.
Yeah, it's like either a fuck yes or a fuck no, because you can't, like, there are things we will do to work with people. Like, we're not saying like, oh, if you have any input or opinion, fuck you.
No.
We're not saying we like are so smart that we know everything. It's when people come in and they say, hey, we want to partner with you, but you can't do this that you're already doing.
Yeah,
or you need to
do
change
that,
this thing that you've already been doing.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, can you do this thing that you haven't done before? We're like, no, we're going to keep doing what we've always done. No, we're down and willing to make, you know, changes and stuff, but not in the way that we're willing to sell our soul and change the way that we've been doing things. And I think the way that we've been doing things is so pure, and we've been getting such a good response from them just because we've been doing what our gut feeling has told us. I mean, I even think about this podcast, like people, you know, advised us not to have a podcast where we were, you know, swearing or like, and granted, we're going to turn some people off, but you can't please everyone. And if you set out to please everyone, you're going to turn off all the people that you actually want to reach because they can just smell through the bullshit and they can tell that you're just faking it and making some like cookie cutter generic thing that doesn't have any real soul to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a situation of where like Andrew and I are the creative geniuses. Andrew and I are the marketing specialists. Andrew and I understand the landscape and understand the culture. And Andrew and I know what's best for you, probably more than you know what's best for you. And what's really, and I'm talking about like, you know, brands or whatever, when they try to come in and tell us what to do, it's hilarious to us. We'll literally like laugh and be like,
that's never going to work.
Like, you can keep your money. It's like, we know what we're doing around here. You have no clue. It's like, if you want to join in, like if you want to like, dude, please join in. get with the programs, get with the times, but it's like if you literally try to tell us what to do, we're just gonna give you your money back. Like, here you go. Like, we don't want that. Like, go away.
It's not worth it.
You know, and it's like, and again, like what Andrew was saying, it's not that we will happily compromise, we will happily work with, we will be very agreeable, but
I mean, I think about the guys from Hands On Concepts. Like, they came in and they were, you know, we did a video with them. Like, it was just super chill. They were down with whatever. There's been other videos where we tried to do similar videos, but there were so many obstacles, and it was just like, okay, I guess we can't do this, you know? And I think that's the main thing. It's like, if you want to work with us, then you're working with us, not against us. Like, you're not going to change us.
Yeah, I think it's like, if you want to join, you can come join us. Just because you're paying us doesn't mean you own us. Doesn't mean you can tell us what to do. Doesn't mean you're going to move this creative control. Doesn't mean, it's like, we are inviting you into our environment. We are inviting you into our space. We have cultivated and created a space that was designed from the beginning to be attractive to advertisers, but also to be attractive to the consumers, because all of the things that I want to put are going to be valuable.
And everything else out in the marketplace already kind of is boring and sucks. Like, there are videos out there that accomplish the same goals as our videos, but in a way that's not entertaining and engaging and funny. Like, we're doing it in a way that's different. But anyways, I feel like we've been tooting our horn for a long time on this part of the podcast. You want to do our quick ad for a second, and then we can get back to talking about the other stuff? So,
let's go ahead and jump into it. So, this is our very first official sponsored episode. Our little
we got merch and we got a sponsor, baby. We making them money.
Yeah, it's really cool. And you guys are, like, again, with the merch stuff, you guys are so awesome. All right, so Brandon is someone we met. You knew
Brandon Winfield. Yeah, he's a wheelchair user. He was on my podcast. He was actually the first wheelchair user I had in my podcast. He was the original Richard.
Dang, I got beat up. So, all right, we're gonna just jump right in the ads. This is an ad. This is an ad read.
Yeah.
We just got to say that because whatever guidelines. All right. Have you ever gone somewhere new just to find out you can't get in the entrance or fit in the bathroom? iAccess Life is a lifestyle mobile application that allows people to rate, review how accessible the parking, entrance, bathroom, and interior space of the location is. iAccess Life was developed to provide peace of mind for people with physical impairments and their loved ones, while they seek new adventures and create memories. Download iAccess Life today for iOS and Android. Visit iaccess.life/W2W and use the code WHEELS. Also, if you sign up for their there's a program. I already forgot the name. Brand Ambassador. And you rate the most places, you can actually win prizes.
Yeah. So it's basically kind of like Yelp or Google reviews where you can rate the accessibility of places. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I know we're currently in a situation where none of us are going out right now, but what I have done and I've been doing is rating places that I have been to before or regularly go to, like my favorite restaurants or my favorite coffee shops or whatever the situation would be. And what's cool about this is it's a collection of data that allows people to check out places before they go. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than like wanting to go out with your friends to like a restaurant and then you call ahead and you're like, hey, is your place wheelchair accessible? They're like, yeah, we got a wheelchair in here one time. And you're like, that wasn't the question that I asked.
Exactly.
Is your place wheelchair accessible? And they're like, yeah, totally. And then you show up and it isn't. It's because people don't know what wheelchair access is. And what iAccess has done is you get to rate piece by piece. It's like, okay, how's the parking? Is it in a good place? Is it flat? Is there loading and unloading zone? Okay, how's the entrance? Can you open up the door? Is there a big threshold? Is there tables in the way? How about the bathroom? Can you fit in the bathroom? Can you get under the sinks? Are there bars near the toilet? Can you actually sit in the area and, enjoy yourself and have a good time and not...
You can have a good time.
And not feel like you're a burden or in the way. And I think they've come up with a really cool solution to a legitimate problem, but we're currently in the phase of just collecting all this data. So go ahead and download the app.
It's called iAccess. If you go, there will be a link in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video. The website is iaccess.life/W2W, right?
Yep.
And there you can click, whether you're on iOS or Android. And then when you sign up, there's a referral code WHEELS. Make sure you do that just so that we can, just so that iAccess knows that we're sending you there, and they know that these ads are working for them.
Yeah, they need to know that their ads are working. So when you download the app and you're signing in, use the code
And
WHEELS.
guys, we've been talking about merch. That's a monetary commitment to us, but this is something that's literally free. You just go download an app, it's free, and you can help other wheelchair users, other people with disabilities, and help them, get into places that, they'd otherwise, there's no option. There's no other way to know whether something is like actually accessible. And another thing that's cool about it is when you sign up for the app, you can sign up as an advocate. So someone that doesn't even have a disability, but is just thinking about those types of things. So that's what I signed up on the app.
I think about my mom, dude. My mom would be a great advocate. Everywhere she goes, she'll probably start rating things.
Totally. And you can sign up as a blind person, as a, hearing impaired, all kinds of accessibility options, so that when you're rating for specific things. And I'm excited to see how it grows. But the only way that the app works is if you guys actually go and help out and make the app great, because there needs to be ratings for every single place. So every place you go, just leave a rating.
Yeah, support the companies that support us, and that's just a great way that you can make things happen.
Okay, cool. I did want to jump back into some of the merch convo real fast, because I'm sure people are gonna have a couple of questions about merch.
We didn't do this part yet.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So if you go to our website, there's an FAQ section, but I'll kind of go over it real fast because I'm sure a lot of people will be having questions about merch. So number one is, do we ship overseas? And the answer would be yes. So there is free shipping within the United States. It's included in the price. It's not necessarily free, but like with your order, we're not charging you extra for shipping, which is a major
thank
plus.
Goodness, because I hate it when I go to buy something and then it's like $6 in shipping or $12 in shipping.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. I'd be like, cool, that's a $35 shirt, but that's kind of expensive, but I can make it $35. And before I know it, it's $42. And I'm like, great. I don't like that. Or recently, I had to go buy some gloves that weren't from Amazon because Amazon is price gouging really bad right now. It's like $80 for a box of gloves so I can do my BOW program. And I was like, cool, let me get 2 boxes. They're like $6 each, and the shipping was just as much as I paid for it. And I'm like, cool, I just spent $12 on $12 for the stuff.
Yeah,
awesome.
And we get it. Shipping does cost money, but the thing is, for us, is I don't like, unfortunately, for the people overseas, it is different because there's just so many different factors that play into it, but within the United States, at least, that's where we're based. We don't want to punish people living in different states necessarily, just based on where they live. If you live far away, you're paying more. I do understand that internationally that is the case, but at least we're trying to mitigate that within the United States. So, all of our shipping is free, but we do ship overseas. How long will it take to get my order? We're working on it as fast as we can, but typically it takes 5 to 7 business days. But with COVID stuff, who knows? We'll see.
Could take it could take 14.
Could take a minute, but we're definitely gonna be working as hard as we can to get it out as soon as possible. What shipping carriers do we use? We use all major carriers, and you can actually select a delivery method during checkout. So whatever options are there, and then also about returns and everything. We've got basically, there are if you don't love it, you can send it back for a refund. But also you can do returns. Basically, we don't necessarily do like an exchange. You just return the one item and you would order another item, and we'll give you the money back for the first item that you got. And it'll be processed in 3 days. All this kind of stuff. It's basically just kind of standard blah blah blah. But if you have any other questions, you can obviously go to our website and you can fill out the form there, where you can ask us all kinds of stuff about the merch. But and the sizing is basic, like men's size, so whatever you typically wear. It seems like it's been pretty true to size.
It's true to size, yeah. It really fits well. Anyone I've given their size to, they really like.
Yeah, and one thing about the t-shirts that I really like is they fit well around the arms. Like, they're not super giant. Like, I hate when t-shirts have like fucking parachute arms and are super baggy. I like that they fit, pretty snug against your arm, and they're not like super baggy in the chest. Like, they fit well. Like, I really like the shirts that we picked out. They're awesome. They're super comfortable. And, a lot of times people are asking about sizing and stuff like that. But, and with the hoodies, I know a lot of people like to go super baggy. So if fuck it, get an extra large.
I don't know. I like the size. So I wear a large hoodie and a large shirt, and I am wearing a large hoodie and a large shirt. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm wearing a medium shirt, and I have a medium hoodie, but I think I might go with a large just because I do like to have mine a little bit more oversized. But
it's got a little bit of the bagginess.
Yes. But let's move on from the merch stuff because we've been talking about it so much. One thing that I did want to talk about was our friend Randall. He's probably listening to this.
What's up, Randall?
What's up, Randall? And he posted a couple of things that were pretty interesting, but one thing that he posted today, he said, numbers just came out. There's over 3.2 million unemployment claims since this all started, the most in history.
That is
crazy.
People that had jobs, not people that are self-employed
or gig workers
like you and I, everyone else. If you're on a 1099, basically, then you can't apply for unemployment. And also, if you are a person that's like a server who makes like $2 an hour, and then all the rest of your money comes in tips, I mean, your unemployment is going to be not a lot. I think it's like 300.
There's actually like a bartender's fund or something I heard about.
Yeah,
it's like
here in Atlanta, yeah. Like all the people from 6 Feet Under.
Here's something that I do kind of want to say that might be controversial though. I'm almost hesitant to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
This might piss some people off, ruffle some feathers, whatever. The thing about it is, the job that you have or whatever you do for money is, everyone should be fortunate for the fact that they can make money. Everyone should be fortunate for the fact that they can make a living, all that kind of stuff. And yes, I do agree that maybe the minimum wage needs to be increased. Maybe maybe bartenders and stuff like that shouldn't have to rely just on tips. Like, that's crazy that they're only getting paid a couple bucks an hour. And if no one comes into the store, that's not their fault, stuff like that. But as a person, you have to take personal responsibility for what happens in your life, right? It's not your fault what happens to you, but it's your responsibility to make the most of a situation, right? So I think that this is a big wake-up call, because I think a lot of people that are unemployed are realizing that they were only providing value in an economy that was doing well. Like, the only reason why, a bartender can make money is because people are having the luxury to go out and purchase overpriced drinks and pay someone to serve them that drink. And I get that you're paying for an experience of going to a bar and all that kind of stuff, but like, that's a luxury. That's
one of the things we're learning about this whole COVID thing.
It's kind of a correction.
We are learning the difference between essential and non-essential very quickly, and we're learning that like people in any type of medical field, extremely essential. Any type of like truck driver, essential. Any type of cashier, essential. Like, people. There's so many. I would argue that we're not essential.
No, we're not essential.
But we're currently in a situation where everyone is online, and we're taking advantage of that. Our job is online. We make money online, so it's like we're lucky that even though we're in the situation that we're in right now, we can still produce content and still make money and still get merch out and still do stuff like that.
And the statement that I was kind of hesitating to make is basically, I think a lot of people are having to take a hard look at themselves and realize that whatever they're doing isn't truly providing that much value, or it's not that it's they're easily replaceable, or or whatever they're doing is easily done by anyone else. You know what I mean?
Well, what is it that, like, I always say and you always say, it's like the way to make money and the way to be valuable is to bring value to the marketplace. And not only bring value to the marketplace, but make yourself irreplaceable. You have to go above and beyond in every way to make yourself completely irreplaceable, even to the point where it's like, most jobs, you die the next week, they've got someone else taking your job. They can throw you in there. But if you have made yourself truly irreplaceable, you die, and then there's like a big struggle to like, gain that footing.
And that's a hard thing to find, guys. Like, I know it's easier said than done. Like, it sounds like very patronizing to just be like, well, just find something that you're really good at. And it's like, that's hard to find the thing that you're really good at. It's also hard to find something that you're passionate about and something that you're talented at and things like that. But the thing is if you are not owed a job, you're actually not owed anything. There are basic human rights. I do agree that we should take care of people. I do agree that we should assist people and help people that are, but at the end of the day, and some people are dealt a way better hand than other people. I'm not going to not acknowledge that. Some people are lucky, all this kind of stuff. But the point I'm trying to get at is I think this is a big wake up call that people really need to put their future in their own hands instead of having that mindset of, what can I go trade my time for? You have the mindset of, what value can I bring the world? Because as soon as you have, like we said earlier, influence and what was the other thing?
Influence, impact, income.
Yeah, exactly. Influence and impact. You're going to be able to have the money too, because the bigger of a problem you can solve for people, the more people are willing to pay. And the thing with, Wheels to Walking, the problem we're solving for people is, with wheelchair users, it's a very hard thing to accept your wheelchair, and it's a hard
big
thing
transition
to overcome. And we're providing a lot of value through that, and that's fulfilling for us. Like, that's the coolest thing about this gig, is that we are able to show up for work and work really hard every day, but we're also feeling super fulfilled in what we're doing because we know the impact that we're making.
A lot of positive feedback. And what I think is going to happen, and this is interesting, a lot of people who...
This is what? Interesting?
Interesting, excuse me.
This is injuring.
Yeah, a lot of people who chose to take the safe and secure route and get a job working for someone else and get, benefits, 401k, consistent work schedule, might be regretting that right now because the job they thought was safe is gone. And they thought was safe and secure is gone. They don't have it anymore. And what I think...
It's crazy how fast people were literally guess I don't have a job now. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Because I guess I didn't think about it in that way. I almost think because if a job can't pay you, they got to fire you. Or they've got to lay you off or whatever.
Or you can keep your job, they just can't pay you.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of places are they're just well, maybe we'll hire you back when all this is done. But sorry, we got to lay you off.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild times.
It's crazy.
And that's where I think freelancing is going to come in strong.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking about just creative freelancing. I'm talking about any kind of freelancing. Whatever skill you come out of this isolation with, whatever skill you come out of this quarantine with, you can start charging people to do. So totally. I implore you to go on YouTube and learn some shit. Because, a lot of people that don't take advantage of the situation and don't learn anything are going to be stuck to doing labor jobs. You want to, haul wood, you want to walk a dog, you want to, repave a street, do you want to paint a tennis court? Sure, it's labor money. It's $10-15 an hour to just do labor. But if you make yourself an expert, or maybe not even expert, just make yourself 80% of the way there, 50% of the way there.
Yeah, because there's a big spread.
Yeah, find a way to get really good at something and then start charging people for it.
And it can turn into something way bigger. I mean, that's what happened with me. I started just dabbling in freelance doing videos, and now it's turned into basically where Richard is my only client, and it's more than just a client relationship. We're a team, and I think that can happen with all kinds of things. And I talk about this a lot, but the Tarzan method of there's no straight path across the jungle. Tarzan has to swing from vine to vine, and those vines are going to take him from one side to the other side and to the other side and to the other side. And maybe there's two vines that he has an opportunity to take. Whichever vine he takes, maybe it's going to take him backwards a little bit. But at the end of the day, he's still going to get to the other side of the jungle. But there's no clear-cut path. And that's the thing that people don't like, is the uncertainty. We're in these uncertain times. Everyone keeps calling it these uncertain times. But if you think about it, every time is uncertain times because everything's temporary. Merge plug. But also, someone's always able to pull something out from under the rug. There's always something that can happen. And, people can scold you and say like, oh, well, you should have saved more. Or, oh, you should have done this more or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think you've got to take those calculated risks because, like you said, kind of choosing that safe route, it's safe in appearance and it's safe in the way of when you have a conversation with someone, it's very easy to explain what you do for a living and all this kind of thing. And it's maybe what your parents want you to do or what society wants you to do.
I think career shame and job shame is going to go away because it's going to go way the far away. And thank goodness. It'd be like when people are like, oh, I'm an actor, but like on the side, I like walk dogs and like, help my dad answer phone calls or whatever. Ain't nobody gonna flex on that. Be like,
at least you got an income.
Like, oh, what do you do? I'd be like, I got 3 jobs. And it's like, it's like, what do you do? I'd be like, I got 8 clients that regularly every week pay me $50 to walk their dog. And I know a place where I can answer phones and make money. And I also do acting gigs as well. You're welcome. You know, like, I think that's gonna go away too. There's a lot, man. I think I'm excited to see what happens in the job market. I'm excited to see what happens with people's emotions. Like, I'm excited to see what happens with gratitude. Like,
what do you think? Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Keep going.
Okay. So I think a lot of people are going to be forced to face their darkness.
Yeah.
And the longer you put it off, the more it's going to be haunting, so you might as well face it now. Go look at yourself in the mirror, go close your eyes and think about it, go write things down, stomp around, throw stuff, scream, yell, whatever, but like face your demons. Like you need your darkness, like figure out what's going on with you. And then I think also a lot of people, because they've got so much taken away, they're going to come back with so much gratitude, because I think about in my life, all the things I've had forcibly taken away from me and that I had to fight back to earn it. I had to earn those things back. I've got so much gratitude for them. And I really hope that people come out of this but it's going to be hard, man. A lot of people don't have a lot of good coping mechanisms, and a lot of people are going to distract themselves with social media and Netflix and drugs and alcohol and sex and risky behavior. And a lot of people are going to do really dumb shit. And I hope not, but I also hope that a lot of people face their darkness and, regain a lot of lost stuff within them. I mean, I talk about this. It's like all the people that say, oh, I don't have time. It's like, no, you do have time. It's like, get back to that hobby you wanted to do. Get back to that passion. Start creating again. Start working again on all the stuff that you couldn't do before because you didn't have time.
Exactly.
And all the things you want to learn, you have the time to learn them now. So take that to your advantage so you can come out at least semi an expert.
Here's another question. I think there's, I'm going to make a statement that I'm going to ask you. I think there's too many restaurants. What do you think about that? Going out to eat is a luxury. And there are so many people that work in the food industry, which is fine and everything. It's not a job that you should shame anyone for or anything like that. But I almost feel like everyone right now is so talking about support your local restaurants and blah, 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 and blah. And I was like, I don't ever go to these local restaurants because I'm eating at home and saving money and making my own food. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be restaurants. I'm not saying that these places shouldn't exist, but it's another thing that's almost like a luxury item. Going out to eat is a luxury, bro. Paying $20 for a meal, you can make that same meal at home for a few bucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you? I mean, there's going to be a correction. It's just weird,
Well, I mean, if you look at the market, which, hi everyone, if you haven't figured it out already, we're in a recession, and we're going to be in a recession for a couple of years, by the way. And what that means is we are now in a bear market instead of a bull market, and the market is going to correct, and everything is going to correct, and in the long term everything will figure itself out. But
it's only temporary.
Just like in 2008 when things crumbled, just like 9/11 when things went to shit. We can keep going back. We can talk about Vietnam, or we can talk about World War II, or we can talk there's so many times when the shit has hit the fan and we've made it out just fine. And I think about everyone's a genius in a bull market. You know, the biggest example of that recently was that big Bitcoin boom. You guys remember that that Bitcoin boom when all of a sudden everyone was a Bitcoin genius because they had made, you know, $100,000 on Bitcoin or $1 million on Bitcoin, and everyone was throwing money at everyone because everyone's such a genius, and then it burst and then crashed and like chaos. It's like everyone's a genius in a bull market. You know, so
when everything's doing good, exactly. So when everything's doing good, open a restaurant. Oh yeah, when everything's doing good, oh yeah, start that side thing. Oh yeah, when everything's doing good, it's like
it's easy to be quote unquote successful in good times.
Exactly. When everyone's spending money, when everyone's freely doing all kinds of stuff, everyone's spending money on luxury items, all this stuff. Meanwhile, we're over here selling merch. But but you know,
we are not blind to that irony, guys. We are not dumb. Like, we realize that this quite possibly could be the worst time to sell merch is at the beginning of a recession, like while people are losing their jobs. But it's like, we started this plan in November and I've already sunk a bunch of money into it.
And it would be so dumb because the meaning of the merch is temporary. Like, it's so applicable to the times that if we waited, it would almost be like after all the hard times that people were going through.
And people would be like, yeah, we don't get this anymore. So, and you know, talking about, you know, Tarzan ropes and swinging and stuff, like when I first started Wheels to Walking, I was like, I only want to do, you know, brand deals and branded content with disability and disability specific stuff. It could turn out that this merch is so popular that we basically become a clothing line with a YouTube channel attached to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we could get this could reach a lot of people in a lot of places, and it could get really popular, and it could be really cool. And we just don't know. We just don't know. I mean, I think that's what Dobrik's done. I mean, think about how much money that he makes on clickbait merch. Like, damn, we both rock clickbait merch.
It reminds me of Danny Duncan.
Yeah, Danny Duncan. He's got Virginity Rocks. People don't know what the fuck that is, but it's funny.
It's like Paxson has it, like Tilly's. It's just like all over these stores, like those skater shop stores.
H3 has Teddy Fresh. He just did a collaboration with SpongeBob. Shout out. That's crazy. Which, by the way, Ethan, after 9 months of not putting up a video on the H3 Productions channel, put up a new video on the H3 Productions channel, and it's a banger. Me and AJ watched it together. It's so funny, clowning on COVID memes. It's so funny. Yeah, dude, and not only that, so funny. Not only that, I think this is another one of those good corrections. It's like he had a kid and pretty much stopped making main videos to go do the podcast because the podcast was generating income. Basically, his podcast got a kick to the dick. Ela, who's in charge of Teddy Fresh as pretty much is their clothing line, is probably taking a kick to the dick. So now that they're both at home, they're like, wait a minute, let's just start making our old school videos again. Which that's what we did with the vlogs. I'm gonna start clapping on that one. Like, yeah, that's exactly what we did. We were pushed into a corner. And that's what I was telling you. I remember I almost had to beg Andrew to be like, yo, can we please do the vlogs? And can we please try to launch the merch inside of the vlogs? And he had a lot of really good rebuttals. Andrew's mom will tell you, he was born to be a lawyer because he's got really good arguments. He had a lot of really good objections. But I kept... it was a good debate. We had a good debate, and I kept pushing it. I was like, listen, we have this pile of merch and no way to get it out. The way that we wanted to do it, we can't do anymore. We're stuck in this really limited, weird thing. I was like, I want to try doing some vlogs so I can try to get some people engaged and have conversations and share what's going on. And this vlog stuff is so weird. I mean, it's almost like if you look at the history of our videos, the vlog stuff started when I was coming home from the hospital. Yeah. And it's kind of stayed that way. And I think maybe, just maybe, what could potentially happen with this channel is there might be, our regular weekly uploads and then random vlogs just kind of blended in. Because exactly. A lot of people are liking the vlogs, dude, and it's kind of cool. It's showing more behind the scenes. I mean, our hospital vlog got 270,000 views on it, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, there's a lot of clickbait involved, and a lot of people are curious as to what was happening. Our recent vlogs have not done that well compared to the hospital vlog. But also, it's the hardcore peeps, man. It's the hardcore homies. And yeah, the hardcore homies. By the way, hardcore people that are watching and listening to this podcast right now, there's probably maybe 1,000 of you, maybe. We don't know.
And I want you to tell all your friends about this podcast and our channel because they're bored and they're looking for good content and good conversation, and whether disability or not, or your friends or your family or whatever. Like, tell them, like, with your mouth, like, text them, talk to them, send them, screenshot it, Instagram it, whatever. Tell them about this because we're still making content. We're still putting out videos. We're still having a fun time over here because, like, a lot of stuff isn't putting, like, so many people, like I said in the beginning, so many people have stopped or reduced, and it's like, the internet is full of consumers. Like, everyone is desperate for new stuff right now, or anything positive or anything good.
That was a great time to put out music, bro.
Yeah.
All the albums that have came out in the past few days, I've been able to like actually listen. That is the beautiful thing about,
you know what else
this
is
whole
another huge
situation.
thing? Comedy specials.
Oh,
Bert
yeah.
Kreischer put one out. Tom Segura put one out. Chris D'Elia's putting one out. Comedy specials,
Genius,
dude.
bro.
Comedy
Genius.
specials. If you're on Netflix, comedy specials.
Comedy specials.
Comedy specials.
Nah.
Comedy specials. Blah, 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 blah.
Quick.
Yes.
Rank those three comedians: Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Chris D'Elia.
Ooh,
On their stand-up.
I don't know. I haven't seen Chris's.
Not the new stand-up, just in general. On their stand-up in general, who's the funniest?
Chris, Bert, Tom.
Wow. Says a lot.
I don't know. I just saw Bert and Tom's. I can't wait to see Chris's.
I say Tom is the best at stand-up, and you rated him last. I say Tom is the best at
I
stand-up.
watched him last night, and I didn't like it as much as Bert's.
I haven't seen this new one. I think Tom is the best at stand-up. I think Chris is next, and I think Bert is last. I don't like Bert that much.
Bert killed this most recent one, dude.
I'll have to check it out. You ranked him first.
He killed it. No, I said Chris.
You said Chris first.
Chris. Because, come on, our cult leader.
Yeah.
Come on, babies.
He's our daddy. Anyways, but I also, I brought up Randall earlier. I did have another thing that he posted that was kind of interesting, and it goes back to what we were talking about with Elijah being diabetic.
Yeah, so before you dive in, I just want to make a quick little comment. A lot of the anxiety that a lot of people are feeling in the community, me included, three things that are making me the most anxious is access to medical supplies, access to medication, and then access to food. Most people are first concerned about access to food and toilet paper. Folks like us, we are very anxious and very nervous about our medical supplies that we are required to live and our medication that we are required to live.
Kind of going back to the restaurant thing, though, I think the reason why everyone was panic buying and all this stuff, too, is because people never eat at home, and they don't know what to eat at home,
They don't even know how to
don't
cook.
know how to cook, and they go out to eat for every fucking meal.
So just grab handfuls of stuff.
So they don't know what to do, and so they end up just buying everything and anything. I'm over here not worried about food at all because A, the grocery stores are still open. B, everyone still has to eat. It's not like the food is going to obviously production could be limited and all this kind of stuff, but like food still is existing, and there's so much like non-perishable stuff out in the universe. Like there's so much that you can eat. I mean, you can survive off fucking rice and spaghetti noodles.
Rice and beans, baby.
Yeah.
A lot of third world countries for years have been living on rice and beans.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't take up much room. It's non-perishable. Anyways, all that stuff. Not worried about that. Also, there's so many different ways you can wipe your ass. So I'm not worried about that.
Take a shower.
Yeah. Anyways, but the medical stuff is concerning because obviously that, again, like people are probably putting the food as primary, and medical a lot of times, might take a back burner for certain reasons or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's kind of this situation that's been happening is like all the people that are running around being like, I'm still going on spring break if I catch Rona. It's whatever, man. It don't matter. It's like you're forgetting all the old people that you have a major disdain to, and all of the chronically ill people, and all the immunocompromised, and all the immunosuppressed, and everyone who's way jacked up, who doesn't have the luxury, who doesn't have the choice.
Yeah, and I hate to, give sympathy to those people, but I think it's kind of the same mentality that I was giving towards some of those jobs I was saying earlier. I think some of those people are like, well, shit, it's natural selection, bro. If you're immunocompromised, then maybe whatever, if you're old, then you're gonna die at some point. That's their argument.
I would say, and I hate to admit this because I'm not like this at all, 20-year-old able-bodied Richard probably would have said some shit like that. he probably would have definitely been like,
there's some people on my Facebook that are definitely like that.
He'd be like, dude, it's just natural selection. Like, whatever. Like, the sick people are going to die. Like, the old people are going to die. Just like, whatever. Let it happen. You know, I'm out here living my best life, doing my thing. If I catch the corona, whatever. Like, I probably would have been that asshole. And I hate to admit that because obviously
there's a small part of me that feels that, but then there's the empathy part of me that, you know, feels that, you know, no one fucking deserves to die just because like dumb people we're just being selfish. And the other funny thing about, you know, that mentality is it's so short-sighted because you're eventually going to be old. You're eventually going to be immunocompromised. Like, you're going to eventually be susceptible to things like this. And, you know, what would you, it's funny when people make fun of old people or like make fun of someone for being old. It's like, hey, mofo, you do realize you're going to get old eventually.
The U.S. might be the only country in the world that has such a disdain and a hate for their elders.
Yeah.
Like, every other culture and every other country, they look up to their elders for wisdom and guidance because, hey, guess what? They've been alive longer than you.
True.
But these, you know, millennials and Gen Z people are like, no, we don't need old people. We have the internet. We have all the information available and all the experience we could ever find out on the internet. So fuck old people.
I think it's also a disdain because I think generationally a lot of so like, for example, our parents' generation.
It started with the okay boomer, you know.
Well, I mean, it started long before that with disdain for old people, but that was a big.
That was the meme of like, it's okay to hate old people now. Okay, boomer.
Yeah, exactly. And
because unfortunately, a lot of boomers are ignorant as shit.
Yeah, but the thing that I think the reason why people have this disdain and this what's the word I'm looking for? I'll think of it in a second. But basically, I think a lot of that generation enabled their children so much. In a positive way, they were trying to provide for them, give them everything they ever wanted, that they became spoiled and entitled. And the reason why they acted like that was because the parents before them didn't give them jack shit.
Because they went through the depression and went through the war, yeah.
And you needed to fend for yourself and take care of yourself. So our parents worked their asses off so that they, in their mind, they would say, I had such a terrible childhood. It was not fun. It was hard. And I had to work my ass off. So I'm going to work so hard that I can provide a life for my kids that they will never have to do that. Mm-hmm. And the unfortunate side effect of that is that those same kids end up, you know, going to college for free, living at their parents' house for longer than they probably should, never actually finding a meaning in life, you know, feeling very empty and not having a purpose. Like, it's this side effect of having no challenges that is really hard to overcome, because if you've never experienced adversity, then what are you kind of like living for almost?
This is our generation and the generation younger than us. This is our thing. Yeah. Every generation has a thing. Great Depression, those people had their thing. World War II, those people had their thing. Boomers, they had 9/11 and financial crisis. That's their thing. Like, this is our first thing. I mean, I remember, I'm old. I'm 31 now. Jeez, I can't believe I said that out loud.
Yikes.
But anyway, so
old man alert.
I remember
I gotta read this
9/11 a lot, and I also remember the 2008 recession a lot. I was heavily affected by both of those things. And side note, let's try to get back to that Randall thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we said what's up, Randall, and haven't talked about it. So
yeah, what up, Randall? We'll get back to it.
Sorry, bro.
Well, I want to read this one thing.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's a Lisa Simpson meme where she's reading off of over the whiteboard giving a presentation, and the title says "Elite Controlled Adult Life Cycle." And the bullet points are: raised with no real knowledge of taxes, loans, credit, nutrition, investments, meditation, or mind control. Anxiety/depression caused by lack of purpose. Disease from stress/carcinogens in food/drink. Constantly seeking dopamine to fill the void left by not knowing oneself. Worth determined by productivity/profitability. Loss of connection to soul/source/inner child/others. Brainwashed by media/religion/government/big business. And brain function skewed by acidic body. Got him.
Jeez.
It was like, yikes. That is a pretty accurate description for a lot of people. And fortunately, there's hope. Fortunately, you can get woke. Fortunately, you can overcome things. And I think probably by honestly watching a lot of Wheels to Walking stuff, you have a lot of great insight on a lot of this kind of stuff, even for people not using wheelchairs and stuff like that. But you got to break out of that cycle, bro. And I think the reason why there's a lot of this disdain for old people is because a lot of young people still depend on their parents and stuff like that to pay certain bills. Or, you know, I know, I hate to say it, but I have a lot of friends that, you know, they're living some level of lifestyle, but only because their parents are paying their rent, or, you know, their
rent, car payment, car insurance, groceries, hospital bills, doctor bills,
and there's nothing,
gym membership, insurance,
and
blah,
there's
blah,
nothing,
you know,
and there's
like,
nothing necessarily inherently wrong with any of that. You know, generational wealth is a thing, and, you know, I don't have disdain for wealth. I don't have disdain for people that are.
I hope to be
that have
wealthy
money.
one day.
Me too. Exactly. That's why I don't have that.
I grew up very poor and very impoverished, and I remember, you know, having my first job at 13 and 2 jobs at 14. And like, I remember, you know, like growing up and grinding it, like in it being hard, and nothing was ever given to me. I had to make everything on my own and earn everything on my own. And I remember being so full of anger and resentment because I was like, man, like everyone else has got all this cool stuff and all this good stuff and all these things are happening to them. And then, you know, like I feel blessed, you know, like I'll plug my Untold Story again. It's like, go read that Untold Story. I talk a lot about my whole
You've been
life.
through it, bro.
I've been through it, and I'm so grateful for every bit of it. Like everything I have ever gone through ever in my entire life has turned me into the person I am today. And as hard as it all was when I went through it, I wouldn't ever go back and change it, because if I changed it, I wouldn't be me.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you can't eat candy all day, right? You can't just, like, you know, only have good things all the time. You can't only go to music festivals every day. You got to have the bad times too, you know? And that's, again,
it's the yin and the yang of things. Like
exactly.
You have to have bad to appreciate good. You have to have good to appreciate the bad. And hey, remember, it's only temporary.
Exactly. And right now we're kind of possibly in a bad, but it's also all about mindset. Okay, so let's get back to this Randall thing. So Randall, he runs a video production company, and he's a really cool friend of the podcast. He's probably listening. What up, Randall? And another status that he made earlier, he said, so the last few weeks, my businesses have taken a huge hit from COVID-19, but thankfully, I still get to pay a $500 premium this month for healthcare. And tomorrow, due to the fact that I cannot legally have my insulin mailed or delivered, my wife and I will be driving 30 minutes to a hospital so she can go in and pick up my prescriptions, which will be roughly $250 for this month. After my wife and I have been taking this situation very seriously to protect my health and immune system, after hours of phone calls, brainstorming, pivoting, and money crunching to keep my company above water, after all our efforts and continued efforts to keep us healthy, safe, and as financially stable as we can, our fucked up piece of bullshit of shit for all profit, not for people, healthcare system in America is forcing us to risk our health just so I can have insulin for my pump and live another day. I'm paying $500 in premium just to be able to live, just to be able to get my prescriptions at an average of $300 per month. To not have the option to get that prescription in a safe way away from a hospital that's probably filled with infected patients and at-risk pharmacists. Think about this. In a time where our governor is telling someone like me, an immunocompromised individual, to shelter in place and lock down, which I'm doing anyways because I'm a responsible fucking citizen that cares about my community, our healthcare system is forcing me to go to a hospital to get a basic fucking prescription that's been around for fucking ages, one that I cannot live without simply because I was born with a disease. And, oh yeah, I can legally only get a 30-day supply. So next month, another $800 out of my account and another potentially life-threatening trip to get medicine that I cannot live without. If all that does not provide you enough evidence of how absolutely fucked the American healthcare system is, then I'm afraid I don't believe you give a shit about anyone but your fucking self.
I'm going to add one more thing onto that. We are currently seeing the problem with our health insurance being attached to our jobs, because a lot of people in a time when you need health insurance, like as a human right, and then you lose your job, like millions and millions of people are losing their jobs right now. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden their insurance is attached to that job. So therefore they're left out on the street vulnerable.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I think is happening that is both terrifying, but is really exciting, is COVID is pulling the wool off of everyone's eyes and showing everyone's asses and exposing everything.
Yeah, it's a big shakedown.
So everything that is unstable, that is fake, that is false, that is bullshit, that is predicated on nonsense is just getting wiped off. Getting wiped off. So I think about every middleman that exists doesn't have a job right now.
Yep.
Think about all the people you know that their whole job is to be a middleman. Good luck. You know, it's like everyone from, I think about all the Amazon sellers, you know, all these genius Amazon sellers that are drop shippers that are always trying to sell you on their programs and all their FBA or whatever that stupid crap is called. It's like, you're not essential. You're just being a middleman for profit. Like,
yeah.
Ugh.
I do understand marketing though. Like, there is something to be said about some of those people. Like, you know, some companies, they don't want to do any marketing. All they want to do is produce a product. Then there are some people that only want to sell the product and be the storefront. They don't want to do any marketing to get people onto their store. They just want to handle the processing. That middleman is serving the purpose of potentially marketing, potentially doing Facebook ads, potentially doing all the things to get people to purchase that product from the company that doesn't have an interest in actually selling the product. They just want to produce that product. I do understand that, but
I think
that's
like
what
all marketing and sales.
I mean, that's what Walmart is. You know, that's what all retail is just, you know, an environment that they are selling other people's shit. You know, but when you are the middleman of a middleman, it's even worse. Like, it's just And I feel bad for a lot of people in sales right now. You know, car sales, probably no one's going to be buying a new car anytime soon.
Currently, it is anyone who has any type of marketing or any type of sales, their job is pretty much not there anymore.
Which is very difficult.
There's a photographer that I regularly work with who basically was like, hey, everyone, I just want to let you know that I got laid off. These 3 areas in my company are the first to go in all recessions. So I kind of saw it coming. Here's what I'm doing to prepare, and here's what you could do to prepare if you lost your job. And, you know, all the stuff that you can do. Like, it was really like a valuable PSA, and it was really helpful. And we gave a lot of like tips and tricks and advice. And I don't know.
But to go back to Randall's thing, I really just wanted to say you're totally right about the shakedown. I think there's a lot of bullshit that's being exposed, and a lot of people are speaking up, like Randall, like you, like, you know, people that are, you know, disability doesn't discriminate, you know, like anyone can get it at any time. Anyone can become sick at any time. Fuck, you could get, you know, Lyme disease. You can get, you know, disabled. You can get a spinal cord injury, all kinds of stuff. It's only by sheer luck and good fortune that you, the person listening to this, if you are completely healthy, me, you know, that we are not in those situations. And I think a lot of this COVID stuff is providing people with a lot of empathy. I think the world is hurting right now. I think, but again, it's like after any tragedy, everyone comes together. I think of this as a positive in the way that I almost have wished that we would have like an alien war or something like that. Like the world needs to come together against some external force because we're like fighting against each other so much. Like if we had like if aliens came down and were fighting us and trying to destroy what humanity, we would all band together to fight the aliens. And that's kind of what we're doing right now to fight COVID, despite the finger pointing at the Chinese or, you know, any of the other countries that we have said, you know, Trump saying it's the Chinese virus and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I get it. It started there, but we got to move past that because it's on a global scale now. Like we've got bigger fish to fry than just pointing fingers. We gotta band together and fucking do your part and shit.
Yeah, I think
that was so insightful. You gotta fucking do your part and shit, man.
Something that is going to be really cool to come out of this. I hope to come out of it, and I want you guys to use your imagination. So, 1 out of 5 people have a disability. 1 out of 5 people. That's 20% of...
And maybe not a physical disability, but any kind.
So that is 20% of the whole population of the United States. Do you know how many people that is? That's a lot of people. And people with disabilities got loud mouths, and we stand up for what we want and what we know and what we think is important.
But there is the Disability Olympics where everyone's trying to out-disability the next guy.
Yeah.
Oh, how can you complain about your thing when I've got to spend $5,000 a month for my medicine? Your little $500 over there is piddly in compared to mine.
So that's what I'm trying to get at is like, I would love to find a way to somehow unify. I'm not taking this on at full responsibility. I'm just saying I think it'd be cool to unify all people with disabilities under like a couple of fronts, you know, but specifically I think right now is we could unify on the lack of healthcare or lack of access to healthcare or the expense of healthcare. And we could go
the expense is a big one.
We could go to Washington and stomp around.
Stomp your front casters, maybe.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying we could stomp, we could yell, we could scream, we could shout. Like, we can make a difference. Like, you would be surprised at how strong of a political force people with disabilities are. Like,
totally.
Like, we have the power to change things, but the hard part is no one wants to be a member of the disabled community, really, in public at least. You know, there's a lot of like shame around disability, and a lot of people don't want to be a party of the "oh, poor me, look at me, I'm sad" party. But
I'm broken.
But it's like we could come together and, you know, get loud and talk about what we want, and I think a lot of people would get behind us. Like, there's a lot of cool things that could potentially happen from this, and that's another thing. It's like, you know, I think there's a movie that just came out. It was called, like, it's on Netflix. Guys, go watch it, called Cripple Camp. I haven't watched it yet, but it's the story of what happened before the ADA happened.
Oh, really?
Like there was this camp of people that like unified and came together and realized there was a problem with access, and then went to Capitol Hill and started like stomping around to like, and then the ADA was born. I mean, it's way more complicated than that, but you know, like, I think we're about due. Like, it's our time. Like, it is our time. Like, throughout the generations, it's like
the ADA was a good thing, but that happened a long time ago. There needs to be a new thing.
Everyone gets their time. It's like, and obviously none of this is being solved, but it's like, you know, the first people to get their thing was like, you know, African American people, but like that's still a huge problem that we have. You know, the next people to get their thing was like gay folks, and then the next thing is like people,
well, also women's rights and all that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Women's rights, and then gay folks, and then, you know, like a lot of more of the LGBTQ plus community, and it's like disabled folks, like, hey, listen up, it's our time now. Like, inclusion is in, conversations are open, people are listening,
people are very open to this kind of stuff right now.
People are listening. Like, it's time that we make moves, like we make waves, like, but the challenging part, the struggling part is finding things that we can unify in, because we are all so different and we all have different needs. But I think if we find 1 to 2 to maybe 3 things that we could all unify on, I mean, shoot, we could just pick one, like, and just get loud and rowdy. And like, there's people out there that care about us, that are activists enough, that have connections in Washington, that like can get bills on the floor and like get voted on, and like, trust me and believe me that like we could use this as our advantage. And like, hey, guess what? We at home now, we ain't doing much. Like, write letters to your people. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I just, this is something that
I think this is a bigger topic for another podcast for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting on a huge rant. We got to rack up. But
yeah,
like, I feel this is something that's very important. That.
No, I agree. And I think that if we can do some brainstorming, I think we can come up with like really good ideas on how we can execute. Because I think right now a lot of people are feeling that pent up anger about healthcare and about all this stuff, but they don't know what to do. But like you said, I think one actionable step is you can definitely write to your congressmen and your senators and all that kind of stuff if you live in the United States, because they do look at that kind of stuff. And I think the other thing is to have conversations with your fellow people and figure out what maybe some of those common pain points are, and figuring out possible solutions. Again, it's like providing value to the marketplace. If you can fix a problem, that is huge value. And I think one of the biggest problems with healthcare and stuff is just that incestual relationship between insurance and the costs of medical equipment and devices and drugs. Mm-hmm. That relationship is very incestual, and unfortunately the person that is actually getting fucked is the end consumer, especially one who has a high deductible or has no insurance or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think about
the American people are getting fucked.
Access to healthcare and access to equipment.
Totally.
It is. Oh my gosh, I could go on forever. But anyway, shopwheelstowalking.com. That's where you want to go.
Go download iAccess. Go rate some places that you've been frequently and that you know are very inaccessible or are very accessible, so you can help out your fellow peeps. But yeah, shop the temporary collection now. It's live. Also,
tell your friends, tell everybody.
Yeah, and also if you're listening on Friday until Monday, I think we said we're gonna do our bundle deal.
We got a bundle deal, yeah.
So if you buy the hoodie,
if you're at the end of the podcast, what's up? There's like 5 of you left over. What's going on? Go get your bundle.
Yeah, the bundle deal is gonna be going on until Monday, the whatever that day is, the like 29th or something like that.
I don't remember.
Let's say it's gonna end on the 29th. It's gonna we'll end it at like midnight our time. But if you buy the hoodie, you get the t-shirt half off, which brings it to about $70 for both. And of course, you get all the freebie goodies inside as well. But thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. We hope that you like the merch. Hopefully we didn't talk your ear off about the merch too much, but I think people are really excited about it.
We're excited, and I think you guys wanted to know a little bit of the history Onyx. I don't know why I said Onyx. The history of how it got started.
The history on it. There we go.
All right, so we were 5 minutes or 10 minutes early last podcast. We're about 5 minutes after on this one, so let's rock out.
Follow us on places, buy the merch, and we'll see you later, everybody.
See ya.